Going to be a short video. I just want to go over, give you a little bit more direction and feedback from the exercise that you all did. You'll see in announcements here, I posted let's get my face back here, two different stories here. Both of them are done by professional reporters at the highest level, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, and they both covered that story that you did your exercise on. So we're going to just take a look at how they did it and then match that up with some of the feedback I gave you, and I'll give you a good example. So we'll start off here with the Los Angeles Times. We'll take a look at their lead. Leads are one sentence, right? So this is I'm sorry, excuse me while I be rude here and look at my phone. I can see that this is not going to last for very long, so we'll try this for a little bit longer. Leads are one sentence. So it's now one sentence should give you broad overview of what this story is about. The issue is some of you, first of all, do a few sentences, which I know is normal when you're first starting, but you're trying to get it to one. And the second issue is you're putting way too many details in there, like the researchers' names, the research, where the journal where this appeared, which journal. You don't need that in the lead. That's all going to come in the nut graph and then later in the background information. Here in the lead, let's take a look at theirs. Left-handers tend to die on average about 9 times earlier than right-handers, according to a surprising and controversial new study published by the California and Canadian researchers. So within there, you already know what happened in the study, and that's good. You understand the main outcome of the study. They say researchers from California and Canada, but they don't say the university. They don't talk about the journal that it's in, right? They're just giving you the broad overview. Then as we go into what the nut graph, which is usually the second, third paragraph where the main focus of the story is, now they're talking about, they give you some more of that information. So they're saying, 1,000 deaths in the San Bernardino Valley, or I'm sorry, 1,000, yes, they looked at nearly 1,000 deaths in this area, in which area, 2 psychologists, how the study was done. Then they give you some of the results of the study, right? They found a dramatical difference, and then they attribute it to what is the reason why they think that, right? Then they get a lead quote up here pretty early. It's really hard to fathom the difference between large and difference that, sorry, let me slow down. It's really hard to fathom a difference that large not having been noticed before, right? So then they say, why is this so important? Then they go on, give you some more of those details. What journals did it show up? Then they break up the percentages, right? And then they close their story. Now, take a look at the New York Times. Do it differently, yet they still follow that main formula we've been learning in this class. Lead is one sentence. I'm going to just get rid of this right now here. You'll just have to just listen to me. All right, left-handed people tend to live significantly shorter lives than right-handers, perhaps because they face more perils in the world, dominated by right-handed, according to new research. So same thing, different lead, but it's one sentence, and they say what was found. Then I really like this nut graph, because in this nut graph they say, in a letter to the current issue of the New England Journal of Medicine, researchers who studied the deaths of 1,000 Southern Californians report that right-handers on average live to be 75 years old. Left-handers typically die at 66. So they start giving you concrete numbers. And that's where I put in a lot of yours for your feedback for your pieces is, put some of those, that's where you can put those numbers about at what ages people died and how many, that should be in the nut graph. It's the outcome of the actual study, not so much about the study itself, because that's what's important to the story, what was actually found, right? And then they even continue. I would put this as part of the nut graph. They talk about the trend between men and women and living longer, about 10 years. They give you all the outcomes. Then they start giving you the background information. Researchers, they name the people, they name what universities they're from, they put a lead quote right there in the middle. You don't want to bury your lead quote all the way at the bottom or put your quotes at the bottom, right? They need to be right up near the top middle of the story because they're like the spice of the story. They make it more interesting. So don't bury your quotes all the way at the bottom. Then they give you some more background information and close it off. So you can take a look at those two stories, how they're done. Yours, I'm not expecting yours to match up to those exactly. They're not supposed to. Every journalist is going to be a little bit different. You can even just see the way these two journalists approach the story, just slightly different. But that formula is still there. The lead being very broad, the nut graph introducing more of the key information of the actual story, a lead quote up there pretty early, then some background information, more quotes sprinkled in, and then a strong closing. Take a look at how they did it. Take a look at some of the feedback I gave you, and now start giving you a little bit better direction of how you start to construct these stories. This is going to get easier for you. This will start to get easier for you, right? Once you do more of these, it's going to start to click You might not exactly know exactly how to write it, but you're going to understand, wow, this information shouldn't be up here, this really needs to be lower, and what is the key information I need to be having in the nut graph, and how do I make a one sentence lead that hooks, right? That's what you're going to start to learn.